never was there a story that remained as memorable to me years after I had finished it, quite like Pool of Radiance here. An official Advanced Dungeons & Dragons computer product. This was the first gold box game, and as such, boy, is this is a big one, guys. This is a big one. Sadly, despite how big of a game this is, how important of a game this is in terms of history, well, you just don't get many people that cover it anymore. You don't get any long plays of it. You don't get any reviews of it. And you certainly don't see anybody covering the Amiga version, which is undoubtedly 1,000% the best version that was ever created. And while I may be one of just a very, very small group of people actually showing off these games, and while I'm probably the only one showing off the Amiga version, especially in the proper aspect ratio of 4:3 NTSC, it's another NTSC game, guys. This game was not meant to be displayed in widescreen. But I'm not the only one that does it, period. No. I want to take this time to give a little shout out to somebody I watch occasionally. He doesn't make that many videos, and, well, I'm sort of understanding why. I started this game about a year ago, and I kind of abandoned it after a while, and then I took a good month off just to devote all my time to this. And I think that's what this guy does. He just devotes all his time to playing these old role-playing games that were the top-selling games back in that era for the adult computer gamers. These are the ones that bought the games. These are the ones that bought computers. These are the most important market in terms of computer sales, and nobody covers these games. He does. His name is Dfortae. Now, since YouTube, in its infinite wisdom, decided to once again get rid of a great feature because of its abuse by a select few individuals, I would be talking about originally the video response and now annotations. Well, you're not going to be able to click on anything until the very end of the video, but rest assured, check the descriptions, check the comments. You will find the links with which you seek. Now, Dfortae and I have very, very different personality styles in terms of the videos. I am very, very passionate. He is very, very subdued, but I believe there's plenty of room. You can like both. You can like both styles. With him, it's very much like, you're just hanging out, and he's talking about the games. I've always loved the way he talks about the games. Just very monotone kind of voice. I really enjoyed it. It's very relaxing how he does it. Normally I don't like people talking about gameplay mechanics. No, but he's talking about it with games that actually deserve that discussion. Looking at his channel, he doesn't make many videos, and sometimes I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, maybe other people should learn from this guy and not make so many videos. People don't think these games deserve discussions, or if they do, well, they just don't have the time. Well, when you're busy just sitting there and you're just review after review of a Commander Keen type of shareware, and you never dig into these deep games that actually sold back in the day, I believe you are making a mistake. And perhaps, just perhaps, it wouldn't be the worst idea in the world for you to take a month off once in a while, to not have a video released every Tuesday and Friday. Just dig in hard, dig in deep, and make something that is worth being out there. I try my best to do that, and I believe Dfortae does too, and I would love for you guys to go and check him out. He's not subscribed to me as far as I know, so tell him I sent you. Make him aware he's not the only one. And, definitely check him out, guys. Love for you to check him out. If you love games like this, you'll love his channel. Now, in order to properly get into this game, to review this game, to look at this game, I believe you really have to dig into its story, which the game itself doesn't present you with any story when you start off. It's all presented in the manual, so we are going to read a little bit of that plot from the manual right now. The ancient city of Flan. Flan was the first great city of the Moonsea, reaching its peak some 1,000 years ago. In those days, the Moonseas was better known as the Dragon Sea, named for the large numbers of great worms that inhabited this area and the regions to the north. The barren river was then called the Stojanow, a dwarvish word meaning trade route. For it was down these passages the ore-laden barges floated, bound for the south. Early Flan was a trading outpost on the north shore of the Moonsea, set up to facilitate trade between the elves of Myth-Draenor, the most powerful elven capital of the time, and the tribes of Thar, Vassa, and the Ride, as well as the Dragon Spine, dwarves. Trade between the powerful elves, the wild humans, and merchant dwarves with a great success for all sides. Soon Flan was the most powerful city on the Moonsea, outshining its only rival, the elven docks of Hillsfar. The elves, the legend says, first discovered the Pool of Radiance. Its description has varied through the passage of years. Many wise sages have declared it a myth, a con man's gambit. The location of the pool changes from tale to tale. Sometimes it is deep in the heart of the eternal wood, sometimes an island circled by great worms, and sometimes in the heart of a huge solitary peak that rises above all others in the Dragon Spine Mountains. It is said that the pool glows with its own energy. Those that approach it feel new power within their bones, while an unreal melody holds them in a rapture. Legends say that the pool's power created the quivering forest and caused the Sorcerer's Isle to appear. The pool is said to bring great power to the worthy, and death most horrible to the unworthy. Some tales say that the individual should drink it, bathe in it, or throw coins into it and wish. There are numerous folk tales of the wise fool stumbling upon the pool and gaining wondrous power or meeting a gory end. The abilities of the pool change according to the needs of the tale spinner. In any event, a trader or adventurer who encounters a sudden windfall or great riches is said to have visited the pool. Let us take a break and meet our characters. That was Shot, our character icon for Shot, who will also appear on the top right there. He is the first character on the top right. We have Lactobacillus Prime. This is his character icon. He is below Shot on the upper right there. And let's look at Maximum RD. These are all YouTubers, by the way. That's his character icon. He is the third one from the top. And how about this music, guys? Incredible music, only heard on the Amiga version. This is the Shadow's Nose, our thief. You can see him on the right there with the dagger. I believe he's a combo fighter mage thief. This is Stygian Phoenix, our cleric. She's the one with the big boobs with her nipples showing on the right. Yes, I can definitely see some nipple there. Good job, computer artists of the era. Finally, we have Pool of Radiance, our 100% sorcerer, to get all those wonderful spells we need. He is the last one on the right there. That's my party. I always make it unique. Usually I do put in my friends when I'm playing at home, but well, these are my YouTube friends, so they get the honors this time. Always make it personal, guys. I love make it as personal as you can. That's what makes good videos, is personality. So we start off right here facing this door, and again, not too much was told to you. Classic American Western CRPG of the era. You're really not told that much to do. And I feel okay discussing a little bit of game mechanics with you guys because, well, far too few people ever talk about a game such as this. And this is a top-selling game of that era. Top-selling game of the computers. Any computer from back in the day. And of the few who will venture into discussing this kind of a game or playing this kind of a game, they all have one thing in common, and that is none of them map the damn game. Now, the last RPG I reviewed was Might and Magic 3 on the Amiga, which was one of the first games to feature just an outstanding auto-mapping feature. I'm sorry, these games here, they don't feature that. They do have a somewhat of a map. You press the A button, and you see a basic bird's eye view of the area, which can help to a certain degree, but no, you do not rely on that at all. mapping these games is an essential part of the game, and it's not just to play the game better or to ease the difficulty or something. I'm telling you, a game experience wise, if you want to play this game the way it was meant to be played, you have to use a damn graph. You have to get some graph paper and you have to map this stuff, and it's not that hard to do. The few who do mention auto mapping, they will say don't do it. Don't do it. It just, what a time suck. What a time suck. This is most of the gameplay right here is mapping these games. You gotta map the damn games. And it's enjoyable. It's an enjoyable experience. There is no excuse for playing these old RPGs and not mapping it. Might and Magic 3, that would be a terrible, terrible disaster to map because the dungeons are just super long. They're super, super long dungeons. It doesn't make any sense. Thank God they had the auto mapping feature. Some games didn't, like Eye of the Beholder. That did not feature an auto map, and yet it was every bit as long and as big as Might and Magic 3. That one, go ahead and download the maps. Download the maps, you're okay with me. This one, they all have something in common, and that is they're all the same. They're all 15 by 15 mazes. Every little section is every little section is its own 15 by 15 maze. Not all RPGs do it the exact same way. This one says 0, so that we know that the one border is always 0. So in this case, it will go from 0 to 15. Some of them start at 1, and 1 is the last one. So in this case, how you want to do this? You just start at the corner of the map, or wherever you want to, really. But I'm going to start at the corner of the map, and we're just going to go 0 on that side. We're going to go 0 on this side, and we're going to count up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. We have it 0 to 15 on this side, 0 to 15 on that axis. And we are at, this one tells you. They don't always tell you. And if I get to one, I don't know. I don't think this game has any ones. I'm not sure if this game has that many areas where you're going to be blind in the area. But if it's blind, it doesn't tell you where your coordinates are. You simply start in the middle of the map. Okay? And then you will build the map around that. Because you start in the middle, then it doesn't matter where you are in the maze. You're never gonna, you're not gonna need another piece of paper, is what I'm saying. Because they all have one thing in common. All of these mazes, all of these areas, they are, I guess they would be 16 by 16 then. Yes, 16 by 16 grids. 0-4 is where we start. 0-4. So we put a little dot there. Indicates indicates we're there. Go back to the 3D view. We see we're facing west. West is that way. And we got a door, so let's just mark a little door there, just to make a mark. And to the left there we have a wall, just to make sure. Yes, we do. So to the left, to the south, we just make a wall there. So we press the arrow buttons. Only use the regular arrow buttons while you're doing your normal gameplay. Combat, you'll want to use the number pad. So we're going to go north. I'm going to press the S button to search. It doesn't really matter in town, I'm sure, but I always use search usually. It gets you more encounters and such. You go north. So we got something on both our left and right sides now. We went north. We got something on our left and right, so we'll make mark of it. Go again. 0-2. Again. We make a mark of it. Again. It's not that hard to do, guys. Okay, that's the edge. We're at 0-0, and then, yeah, we got a wall in front of us. Now we turn right. You walk near the poisonous barren river, okay? We got a door on our right. Let's go into that door. You are welcomed by Priestess Joy of Sun. Do you seek healing? And we can say yes, but then we can exit. If you say no, she'll automatically kick your ass out. So, again, I'm just going to map the area. So we go straight. We got a wall on our left. Go straight. Again, she's gonna do her little thing. We could do this. We could say soon temple. We can mark it. Yeah, soon temple. Or we could make letters. We could just say ST, and then you go to the side and say ST equals soon temple. Once you do this stuff, once you get the map going, you will know every single area of this game by heart. You won't even need to look at the map. So I'm telling you, yeah, you will know. You're just gonna know every area because you went through the effort to map it, and then you just get to know the map. You won't even need the map. You'll just know where everything is. Now, it's not exactly the greatest detail. Like every building is gonna have the same kind of cobblestone walls. The outer edge is gonna have like this grayish wall with some vines. There's not many landmarks you could say back in this era of games. That are gonna make you realize, okay, then the temple or that thing is over there. No, you can't do that. You gotta map the damn maps, and I'm gonna come back to you once, I'm done mapping. So what we have here is a completed map. It did not take me very long at all to do. We started up here. We explored the little temple there. And then I went ahead and I explored all this area here. And I know this area so well by mapping it that I can tell you, basically, just looking through this camera viewfinder, what everything is over here. This is just a recreational park area for the town. It's just atmosphere. It doesn't add anything to the game. This is an inn for y'all. It's a temple. Lots of temples in this game. At least in this town, anyway. That's an inn, that's an inn, that's an inn. Got several inns that we can go to. Costs 1 platinum. This is the downtownish shop area. All these stores here, all this area. These are all weapon shop. That's a weapon shop. That's a silver item, special item shop, silver items. Got miscellaneous. This area here, that seems like it doesn't have anything. That's a dock. So it's actually full of water. That's why there's nothing there. You will see there's nothing on line 15, but there actually is. They do use line 15, so I think that's just because it's supposed to be water or something. I don't know, but they're not using it in this town anyway. So that's a tavern. Taverns, don't go into the taverns unless you expect a fight, because very often you will get a fight. Again, over here, there's these blank areas. That's a dock, so you can't access them because it's just water. This is actually the boat dock here. You go into this boat, and it will take you to various places later on in the game. Right now, it will just take you to Sokol Keep. This is the training area for when you want to train your fighters. Every fighter class has a different spot. So thieves go there, fighters go there. Magic users go there, clerics go there. And then there's this one area here which I have not mapped out because I want to show you. I'm going to go there on camera for you guys. So let's check out what this middle section has to offer us. We've moved here to 4-3, which is an entrance to the City Hall. You're outside the City Hall. The city clerk waits inside to award commissions. Proclamations are posted on the walls in your journal. You note proclamations. Lots of Roman numerals here that I don't, LX4. Well. We'll just go into the journal entries and we'll note what these proclamations are, shall we? Let's open up our massive journal that's falling apart. Proclamations. Be it known that the council is interested in acquiring information as to the disposition of various formerly living entities rumored to be harassing honest citizens in the vicinity of a Helgen graveyard and LIX. Be it known that the council is interested in reclaiming the remaining blocks of the city of Newfoundland. To reclaim said blocks, they must first be cleared of monsters, vermin, and other uncivilized inhabitants. To this end, the council is offering a reward to any person or groups who is responsible for clearing out any block of the old city. So, there we go. That's our main quest, actually, and I don't know Why are there so many proclamations before that telling you to go to the graveyard? And the one we actually want is to clear out the city. We do not want to go to the graveyard. Not yet. Not yet. Another classic American RPG trap for you, because unlike JRPGs that steer you in the right direction, guide your hand, American RPGs are savage beasts, and they want you dead. Once we get those proclamations, we're good with that area, and it'll only list proclamations when they become available. So once we get a new quest, once we finish a quest, we can go back. We'll get new proclamations at that point. So, you enter the city hall. As you face down the hallway, you see a guarded door. Go up one step. You are outside the clerk's office. Guards posted around a door on the south wall watch you closely. Let's go one more, shall we? You are intercepted by the council guard. Halt! Your presence is not authorized. Leave. Do you leave? Yeah, I guess we'll leave for the moment being. You assholes. Actually, this huge chunk that you see here, we don't have any access to it. Not at the moment, anyway. So let's go into the clerk's office. You come to this girl that you will see plenty more of in the coming games. As you enter, the council clerk begins looking through a stack of papers. Before I can offer you any commissions, I must see if you are due a current reward. The clerk shuffles through her papers. On the matter of commissions, she says, I can offer the following. The slums immediately to our west need to be cleared of monsters. Sokol Keep on Thorn Island must be cleared. The council is offering a reward for books, maps, tomes, etc., which provide useful information about Flan before the fall. The reward is tied to the value of the information. These are all the commissions currently available. So those are your actual quests, I guess. Didn't mention the fucking graveyard, did it? No, it did not. We've done what we need to do in Flan. So I'm just going to give you a little tour of the town there. We already had that tour at the beginning, but we'll have another little quick tour here. This is the training grounds. We can go in here. Notices for teachers and students are posted on the walls. Note directs magic users and clerics to the north, fighters rogues to the east. So this is only in this one game here, but each there's an individual place for each class to train. So we want to go here. This will be the clerics. We only train clerics here. Do you wish to train? Now we can say yes. It'll actually come up with this menu that we saw earlier. But Stygian is our cleric. So can she train? Maybe she can. It costs 1,000 GP. Well, we don't have that money available to us at the moment. But I don't know if she actually has the level or not. It doesn't actually tell you who's eligible to train. In fact, it doesn't even tell us at all what her points are. It just... Oh, yeah, it does. Experience 23, so... I don't know if she's eligible or not. I doubt she's eligible at 23, but yeah. So the training area is basically, you know, we go in there and that's the mages. We can go in here and we can do both, one of two things. We can have a little arena battle. Asks if you wish to duel. The duels are evenly matched, normally not to the death. Do you duel? Let's duel. Who will duel? We can only have one apparently. Shot. Let's do this. Are you really just gonna fucking bow me, you little piece of shit? Yeah, you bow me, I'll go behind you and... Hiya! Oh, I missed. Changes to two-hand. Ooh, shit. He hurt us good, and we don't have anything on us to help. So either we get him, or he gets us, pretty much. And we missed, so... Yeah, I think shot, I think you're dead. Got 8 there. Oh, thank God. But you gotta go again. Fuck! Killed! You know what that means? Do you know what that means in Pool of Radiance, everybody? That means you reload the game. But you can't just reload the game. You gotta frickin', reload the game. You gotta reload the fucking game. You gotta start from the beginning. You can't just load the game. You gotta go all through this shit again. So here we are again outside of the city hall, because we had to recompletely. There's no way to load your game inside of the game, which is ridiculous, you know, especially with this game. Oh my god. Oh, the duels are normally evenly matched and not to the death. Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Okay, do we want to duel this time? No, we don't. Do you seek a partner for your adventuring? Sure. There's no one who will go with you. So that is where you could hire NPCs. So we can have these ones, the fighters to the next door, the rogues are in this one, / thieves. And there's another back door to this area. So let's just roam around the town a little. You can go area map here, but that's not too pretty. But yes, here's the docks. You can go here. By order of the City Council, the Harbor Master says the only boat out is going to Sokol Keep. That is a pretty messed up thing. You're trapped, everybody. You're here on this island. Well, you're fucked. You're fucked. You're fucked. You're fucked. You actually go here, it will automatically, there's no turning back. You board a boat, and it will automatically send you to Sokol Keep. But that's okay, because we can just turn around. It doesn't cost us anything. It doesn't cost us any money. It doesn't cost us any time. We're all good. Those are the docks. These are temples. All the there's a bunch of temples in the town, and yeah, they'll heal you. Duh. You can say no or whatever, and whatever, you're good. Docks, as I told you before, it's just, you know, just a dock. Nothing special about it. There are taverns. There's really nothing besides the taverns, the temples, the hall, the city hall, and these shops, which these shops are not available to us at the moment because it's nighttime. But the other thing is the inns, so we can go to the inns. This is the one I've always seemed to go to my entire life of playing this game. There's several here, but I always seem to go to this one in particular. 1 platinum piece to rest here. Do you wish to stay? Sure. You don't have enough platinum. Yes, I do, you piece of crap. Black Dubacillus Prime, you got all the money, don't you? And of course, this is where we do our magic. We get our magic done here. Stygian got into a little brawl earlier, and she had to cast some Cure Light Wounds on her. She had to cast some Cure Light Wounds on us, so we're going to let her memorize those. And you got to, each time in this game, not so with all of them, but in the first game, every time you cast a spell, you got to come back, memorize them again individually, press rest, and yeah. And now we are all set. We're all set to start our journey into the slums, everybody. We'll save our game first. First, let's take a little bit closer of a look at the magic system here. It's a very imperative in the Gold Box games to, you know your magic spells. There are certain ones that you will seem to use over and over again, certain ones that seem useless, but there are certain ones that, actually have a use. Certain people will use those spells all the time, but you think they're useless. It's kind of like that. There are genuinely some spells that are useless to everybody, but there's a lot of spells that maybe you should try out a little more. You get used to things, and you end up not trying some other ones, and a lot of them do have some uses. The spells, they are so important in these games, and they are constantly. They are always important, unlike in a JRPG where it really is purely hack and slash in a JRPG, and you're lucky if in the boss battles you're using the spells. In the Western RPGs, you are constantly in need of your spells. They are imperative. Always check those out. In the beginning, shops, on the other hand, they are not imperative in this game. This is the worst, this is the biggest downfall of all Gold Box games, is the economy. The money system in these games are beyond, they're awful. They are awful. The only use you have for money in the beginning is to, just get some basic equipment for your party and to train. You use money to train, you use money to heal if you need it. That's it. There's no use. You will be dumping just tons and tons of money in this game. Ugh, it's awful. All the good equipment is going to be found through battles, through special scripted battles. That is how you're going to find all of the good equipment. Money is useless. It's the biggest criticism I have against these games. Is there's just, unlike a Might and Magic, which the deeper you go into the game, the more good stuff you can buy. Not so in this case. So entering the slums here, we came across our very first battle right away. That's not always the case, but apparently we got in there and we were surprised by some orcs. Now we've already been hit, I believe. Let's take an aim here and let's figure out who is in trouble. Shot's at 8 hit points, so I think it's just Shot, and he's not in too bad of shape at the moment. Stygian, though, Stygian has the healing touch. He has those magic fingers. We're gonna cast Cure Light Wounds on Shot. Oh, I forgot Maximum RD. He was the one that cast Sleep last time. I forgot to rememorize Sleep for Maximum RD. Oh well, I guess you're gonna have to use your normal attacks then. Missed. Shot, what have you got to offer? Missed. There's a lot of missing. A hell of a lot of missing in this original game. But Shadow's Nose does have a spell. He has Sleep. Let's cast Sleep. Sleep is invaluable to you in these original areas. It will go so far. Just make sure you hopefully you don't want to attack yourself. I don't know. Let's hopefully not attack ourselves. So we've got orcs falling asleep, and that's it. So we got that little radius there of orcs falling asleep. Stygian, you're going to go cast Cure Wounds on me. Target. And I'm partially healed. Lactobacillus Prime. Go after this guy. Because he was sleeping, he goes down in one swoop. Easy. Okay. Shadow's Nose. Let's go after this one. Yeah. Oh, how dare you, Pool of Radiance. Oh, I hate when they do that. I must have hit the wrong fucking button. Ugh. There's a way to make the computer control your characters. I must have accidentally hit the damn button. It's very hard. It's very hard to get them off of it once they get on it. Oh, I hate when that happens. I really need him to cast Sleep, and I don't want the computer to cast Sleep, because the computer will likely cast it on me, because the computer sucks. Stygian with your mace. I don't want you too close to anything, so I'm going to have Stygian delay. Orcs do not have arrows, thank God. Shot, move up one. We'll attack in the middle here. Missed. Of course. Everybody misses. Everybody misses. There's so much missing in this first damn game. You can put Stygian in the battle, though. Oh, yeah, that one's one cruel blow one, so that's good. That one was sleeping. Shadow's Nose, I believe this one should be? Yes. Okay, that's good. Maximum RD going at it. Hopefully, I think Pool of Radiance is next. So I'm going to try my best. Give me the control back! I don't know. I don't know. Did I get control back? I don't know. Stygian, the only one it's hitting anything with her mace.
Let's talk a little bit about this battle system, which is utterly amazing. It's a thing that is amazing to this very day. You don't get battle systems that are as tactical as the Gold Box games were. As far as I'm concerned, nothing has ever eclipsed it in the history of games. You would eventually get SSI themselves with the Baldur's Gate series. That would also get a great combat system, but that is in real-time mode. This is the best turn-based that there ever was, and the argument can definitely be there for, is turn-based the best? Is it the best? Did we lose something when we went to real-time combat in everything? Now, there are other games like strategy games, which featured, great combat systems. Heroes of Might and Magic would be in that category, but Heroes of Might and Magic, it's still that 2D kind of affair, the way it's laid out. And even though this is a bird's eye view, in a sense, you have all directions you are working with. I adore this combat system. Now, it wasn't always perfect in the Gold Box games. No, you had these random encounters all the time, which definitely can get on your nerves. But in another sense, it's perfect for these games, because I guarantee you there is no grinding. There is no grinding that is necessary in the Gold Box games, which is a very far cry from most RPGs. There is no required grinding. If you naturally map these games, which nobody maps the games, I know, but if you do map the games and you step in every square with that search option on, I'm telling you, the amount of encounters, the random encounters you get combined with the scripted battles, you will naturally be where you are supposed to be. You will be above where you're supposed to be, and you will win this game without the need to, sit there and go back and forth, and do unnecessary battles, just so you can have enough experience to gain the levels to win the games that most RPGs expect you to do. There is no grinding in the Gold Box games. That is a breath of fresh air. And even though the random encounters can definitely get on your nerves from time to time, for the most part, when you're mapping the games by yourself, hand mapping them, when you're taking the time, you press the up arrow, you move a space, and then you go to your map and you pencil it in. The random encounters end up being, just another piece of variety that this game offers you, because you spent your time, you're in the 3D view, you're looking around, then you change to the map, you actually pencil in the map, and then you move another space and you get a random encounter. All of these things combine for variety. Largely, you will only become annoyed at the random battles when you are not mapping the games, and they will actually be a good thing when you do map the game. Here is our first quest, a non-council quest. This is a side quest. There are not many side quests in Pool of Radiance, unfortunately. I love my side quests. This game does not give you too many of those. Here is one we encounter in the first area, which is the Slums here. And you can take a look at my hand-drawn map of the Slums right there. In these Gold Box games, the American CRPGs, they don't fuck around. You are thrown at tons of stuff. All right, we got gnolls already. We got ogres already in this area. We will die. Okay, you will die. You will die often. You will have to reload your game and have to get lucky with some of these spells and such. Put them to sleep. Sleep, as always, is a very wonderful spell. Stinking Cloud later. These are the spells that your beginning party will need to get intimate with. So this is gaming memories and review. So what are my memories of this game from back in the day? Well, I remember my dad playing this game. I specifically remember he had all of the Gold Box games on the Amiga. In fact, when I was looking through my Commodore 64 discs, he even had Pool of Radiance on the Commodore 64 before he had Pool of Radiance on the Amiga. So he liked this game enough to get it on both the Commodore 64 and the Amiga. Now, originally, everybody, it is a Commodore 64 game that originally in 1988 there it was created in America on the good old Commodore 64. And the Commodore 64, much like the Amiga, also suffers from misrepresentation due to the love that the Europeans have, that these systems were not a thing in America, or after a certain time period they were not a thing in America, and the Commodore 64 is just as guilty as the Amiga in this. And the Commodore 64, it sold millions in America, and yet it was not a thing in America, apparently. No, it was a thing in America, and NTSC games, and yes, the Commodore 64, it's just like the Amiga. People are playing them in PAL mode at the wrong speed and the wrong aspect ratio. They are being stretched online. Commodore 64 has the exact same problems that the Amiga has, but a lot of these fantastic, wonderful role-playing games. People thought the Commodore 64, it was dead in America in the mid-'80s. They are so incorrect. Some of the best games ever made were being written in America for the Commodore 64 in the late 80s. Some people out there, I know you have good intentions. You love your Commodore 64s, you love your Amigas, but you are falsely destroying history because all you see is your own perspective, and you never dig into that perspective. And that perspective it's not being helped because there's nobody in America that is saying anything because they're older. The computer audience in America, it wasn't older. An older group of people, and they're not on YouTube. That doesn't mean you shouldn't think of them. Yes, you should, like my dad who played these games. Now, I remember my dad playing these games, and I distinctly remember, even though he had all of the Gold Box games, they all shared the same engine, the same basic game engine, but they were different enough that they never blended in for me as a kid just peering in on him playing these games. They never blended in, so and they definitely, I'm 100% sure they never blended in with him as the gamer playing these games either. I remember him playing this particular game, Pool of Radiance. I remember him playing Curse of the Azure Bonds and Pools of Darkness and the Kryn series. But my biggest memory of this game came a little bit afterwards in terms of my childhood. Well, I was still a kid, but I'm talking like 1998, 1999 when I was we had gotten this huge collection of Gold Box games, which were meant for DOS, and I had played Champions of Kryn. And the first game I ever played in the Gold Box games back in the day was on the Amiga, and that was Death Knights of Kryn. So when I got this DOS compilation, I went for the first in the Kryn series, which was Champions of Kryn. And I remember beating Champions of Kryn and being pretty excited about it. I loved that game. And I told my father about it. He's always... I think at the time I was a little annoyed with him. But in retrospect, I laugh. I told him very excitedly that I had beaten Champions of Kryn, and he said, "Huh? Oh yeah, yeah. That one was easy. Try Pool of Radiance." He always was a great big smart ass, and either you loved it or you hated it. But I guess I got a kick out of it, and I kind of adopted a lot of that smart assness. But in reality, like what he said was the absolute truth. It was the absolute truth. Champions of Kryn is super easy compared to this first game, which these guys, this was the first one, guys. Now there was one other Advanced Dungeons and Dragons computer game prior to Pool of Radiance. He had that one too. I kind of remember that was a side-scroller game. Definitely left a lot to the imagination in terms of role-playing. I can't remember exactly what it is at the moment, but I'm sure I will get to it eventually. But this was the first true role-playing game that came with the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons license. This was the first one. They really took their time with this particular game, and the Amiga version especially they took their time with, because in 1988 that was the original release for Commodore 64, DOS very soon after, and the Apple II and a bunch of other systems. They got it immediately in 1988. This one didn't come out for the Amiga until 1990, everybody. The Curse of the Azure Bonds on the Amiga actually came out a little bit before this one, late 1989, I believe. So This is actually the second game to be released in the Gold Box series on the Amiga, but it's the first game overall. I think even Champions Kryn might have gotten released before Pool of Radiance did. But this is something very, very, very special in terms of the Amiga, and not too many of the actual magazines seem to get it back in the day even. How important, how special this game was in terms of the Amiga. The same magazines that constantly bitched about how the Amiga is another DOS port, it's another crappy DOS port. This game got such a royal treatment in terms of the Amiga version, and I didn't see a single magazine review that noted that fact. Now, because it's 1990 and I think Secret of the Silver Blades is close to coming out at this point, these people are looking at these other games and they are comparing them with Pool of Radiance and saying that these games are just, well, it just doesn't cut it. They're so much more advanced now, and people they didn't understand that all the artwork, every last bit of the artwork was completely redone. Like, they're all different. It's not just, got added colors and stuff like that. Yes, it does. It most certainly does have added colors to it. But all the character portraits, they're completely different. Look at the DOS version. Look at that kobold there. And then compare it to the kobold that you will see in the DOS version. The actual drawing is different. Okay, it's still based off, it's a kobold and that's the basic look. But the actual angle of it and everything, it's not just that there are more colors and it looks better, and yes it does, but the actual sprites, the actual bitmapped artwork there is different. In the battle scenes, the actual artwork that you see for the people and the enemies, they're still based sort of on the original Commodore 64 artwork, but they are their own thing. They were completely redone on the Amiga. You will see, just tons and tons of movement, like the hands here, all of this movement in the Amiga version. There's actual animation in the Amiga version. They went above and beyond. The sounds are incredible. The music, not much of it, but it's incredible. I can't tell you how many times I hit the camp button and then the main theme music would start to play, and I just sit there and I do my spells, and I just sit there and wait for the entire music to play and then loop again. I never got tired of the music, no matter how many times I heard it, no matter how many times I had to reset the game because I died or something didn't go right and I had to listen to the damn theme again. I never, ever got tired of the music. That is how awesome the music for this game is. And they completely took advantage of the Amiga. You want to listen to the Commodore 64, the original tune, the original intro? It might be familiar to you. It's actually the intro to Curse of the Azure Bonds on the Amiga. They used the same one on Pool of Radiance and Curse of the Azure Bonds in the original Commodore 64 version. The same musical theme is used, but for the Amiga version of Pool of Radiance, they actually did their own number. And it's not just a little simple tune like the Commodore 64. They can only handle so much at a time. No, the Amiga, it actually took advantage of the Amiga. The damn thing's nearly 4 minutes long. So we are now in Mandor's library, and a whole lot of journal entries are going to come at us at this particular location, which is going to help us a lot in terms of the plot. It's a slowly unraveling plot, which I absolutely adore. I just love. This is why it's such a memorable game. Is because you go around, you're hunting things, and then out of nowhere, suddenly, you actually read. You actually physically read something. And that really does help the story stick with you. So let's read a little bit from the journal entries right now. And these journal entries are done in such a way to discourage you from reading ahead, reading all of them. And because there are some false journal entries in here, but here's a real one, journal entry number 3, an old leather-bound book written with a small, firm hand. The hordes came again last night. The coordination was frightening. Under the cover of darkness, goblins and kobolds pushed bundles of sticks to within bow range. These bundles formed a wall that protected the small ones from our archers. Once the wall was erected, orc archers took up safe positions there and began pelting the castle walls with arrows. I do not know if we can combat the monster's onslaught much longer. We lost 12 more men last night. The monsters seem to have an unlimited number of reinforcements. The last priest of Tyr, Farron Martinez, says he has a way to protect the keep, but he says that it is so terrible that it may only be used as a last resort unless we receive reinforcements shortly. Farron Martinez is our only hope. Here's a false entry that it says, though. Journal entry 1, a loud voice coming from a magic mouth cast on a stone tablet. I am Yurash the Sorcerer! Be it known that for every living giant insect you return to Sorcerer's Island, I will pay a generous bounty, including a weapon empowered by magic. I will pay for giant insects such as Thrycreen, giant mantis, and Akleg. The insects may be bound by magic, but dead insects are of no use to me. Bring me any bodies to the northern river mouth of Lake Koto. Call the name Yarash loudly 3 times, and I shall come. Do not call unless you have something for me. I shall be very angry if I'm destroyed without cause. I am Yarash the Sorcerer! Now that is a false entry, but it actually is a plausible one with what you will find out about Yarash the Sorcerer. So I don't know. I never personally ran across journal entry number 1, but it does seem a plausible one to me. There are other ones which are completely implausible. There is journal entry 30. Carefully prepared notes. Note 1. Tyranithraxus is definitely a product of immersion in the Pool of Radiance. His extraordinarily brilliance, vigor, charisma, and power of command must be a direct result of exposure to the effects of the pool. Note 2. The Pool of Radiance may grant special magical abilities. Tyranithraxus exhibits a fairy aura, obviously magical. He also seems to have extraordinary means of obtaining information. Special magical powers granted by the pool would explain both the aura and the extra information gathering capability. Now that was a true one, but here's journal entry 36, which is not true. So if you were to read this, it would definitely steer you wrong. He has fooled me. All this time he has called himself Tyranithraxus the Flamed One. He exhibited his flame and spoke his deeds attributed to Tyranithraxus. But today, while he did not know I was around, he revealed his true identity. He spoke into the great pool in his lair. I think he spoke to Lord Bane himself, and he referred to himself as Meram. Meram, he of the great spear, is also a servant of Bane. Why would my leader use a false name? He hides his identity from the world so that they do not research his past and discover his weaknesses. What if he also hides his identity from the closest advisors so that he also cannot know his true abilities and weaknesses? Anyone who attacked him thinking to utilize the weaknesses of Tyranithraxus would be destroyed by the different powers of Meram of the Great Spear. My research into Tyranithraxus is now useless. I must scour my records for details concerning Meram the Great Spear. I have much work to do. You know, I think I actually might recommend reading all of the journal entries after you finish the game and you've discovered the correct ones, because a lot of these journal entries, the false ones, are actually quite well told, and I never really looked at them until now. They're great, and since we're in the outside world now, I thought I'd show you a journal entry which shows a lot of the outside world, and much of this you will never see, like the ones showing the moon, sea, and everything. You're not going to see that, but you will see the areas around New Flan, and here is New Flan. It's the whole area itself, all the different areas. Each one of those little areas is another section you have to clear, besides the tremendous large outside world that we have to deal with. Here is my hand-drawn map of the outside world. I'm very proud of this one. What do you think of that thing, guys? That's pretty impressive there, isn't it? It actually deserves to be on 2 extra sheets of paper besides that, but I noticed that if I do it in this way, all of the important things I can visit on just the one map. So that's how I do it these days, rather than stitching them all together. This is the one area of the entire game that requires more than just the one piece of graph paper, but it's not that hard to do, this particular one, and it's actually very rewarding once you finish it. Again, you search, you go every square inch of that overworld map, and you're gonna face some very big battles. But if you do that, you're going to find that you get quite a lot of experience from those battles, and just the random encounters, they're going to help you a lot in the game. So instead of just looking online and cheating and finding exactly where you need to go, it's going to be both rewarding and better for you to actually just go ahead and map the overworld. And this is the best overworld in any of the Gold Box games as far as I'm concerned. The graphical nature of it, it really is quite beautiful, and it helps you immerse yourself in everything. Compared to the one they went with, it seems for most of the games, is more of a map. You're looking at a map kind of thing. That's the one they seem to go with the majority of the games, and they change it up a little bit. Like Secret of the Silver Blades has no overworld map whatsoever. It's all 100% in the first-person view, which is quite a feat to accomplish in that one. But I really was a fan of this first game's overworld, and it's too bad they never went with that style again. It's very nice looking, if you ask me. So finally, we arrive at the graveyard, the dreaded graveyard that the city clerk, the council wanted us to go to way earlier on. And if we had, we would have been so slaughtered. Our levels would have been drained. The entire game would have been near impossible for us had we gone to the graveyard originally, which I think that's what a lot of people will do when they first play this game. The way they build everything up for you. You go to it later on, and it's mostly a breeze, except you're still the mummies will give everybody paralyzation with fear instantly. So it's the graveyard is always a dangerous place, but it's a lot easier if you save it for one of the last sections of the game. We are now storming the Stojanow gate. We're facing hill giants and level 6 magic users and level 9 fighters and such. They're throwing everything at us now. Do you feel it, guys? Do you feel the escalation of everything? And this is why. This is not my favorite, RPG ever. It's not my favorite game ever or nothing. But it is the most memorable story that I've ever come across in any game ever. It's just the entire ride and the way you read the journal entries and you get immersed in it. That Pool of Radiance, it's such a nice term there. Bathe in the Pool of Radiance. The dragon that's possessed. The way this game goes about the story, it's not every step of the way like a JRPG where every step you take there's another couple lines or something. No, it doesn't do that, but every once in a while it throws a paragraph at you, 2-3 paragraphs at you in the journal entries. The strategic elements of the combat, where no matter how many times you've beaten this game, I've beaten it 4 times, you still have the occasional complete party death. You will never completely master the game because it's built hard, but you can do it. You can beat the game, and it's so worthwhile. The final boss here, how the video was the best run of the final boss. I did it again for the picture taking for the Amiga Love review, and 3 of my party members got slaughtered in that one, and here it's just Stygian here, unfortunately. But it's a really tough ride the entire way, but it is such a rewarding end. Years after you've beaten the game, you will remember it. You'll like it so much, you might even seek out the book. They wrote a book about it. I think that was first. And they also did the actual, board, Dungeons and Dragons, playing the dice, which this nerd is too much of a nerd to ever, have enough friends to actually play the real, Dungeons and Dragons. I think that's a whole nother level of nerd. Those nerds have friends. In one sense, it's awesome that they can do that. In another sense, the true nerd is the one that's in front of the computer. That's his only friend. But it's so wonderful that there are 3 different ways to experience this wonderful story, and I recommend it to no end. This is one of the best games of all time. It is one of the best Amiga games of all time. You've got to start showing this stuff off because this meant something. It was the first of 9-12 different gold box games. They were all based on the same engine, same basic kind of thing, everybody, and you don't get that far. You don't get to make that many games without changing it up unless it's great. It's something fantastic that cannot be overlooked. We're going to raise Stygian back to life so she can get the experience she deserves, and she can come with us on the next journey. You can transfer your characters to the next one. We will transfer them to Curse of the Azure Bonds. What a great, fantastic game. Please be sure to subscribe, like, and everything if you indeed like the stuff. Check out a Dfortae video, and check out Might and Magic 3 that I did. Check out Uninvited that I did, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye, everybody. I left with a bang, came back with a bang. It's great being back when you have such wonderful games to look at and nobody else looks at them. Love it.